Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here, and I'm back after 10 days since not making a video, and I'm finally here to continue Star Wars month. Yeah, so in this video, I'm gonna start like talking about the prequels a little bit, like defending them because really, I mean, they're not as bad as some people say. I mean, a lot of people saying the prequels suck. Nuh-uh, alright, the prequels actually are good movies, okay? Yeah, like I've said before, I like them just about as much as I do the original. Yeah, I mean, I think both trilogies are just equally as good. I mean, neither one really seems like the better trilogy. Neither one really seems superior. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy all 6 movies just about the same. Yeah, alright. Yeah, but just... Yeah, then, yeah, a lot of people are just saying, like, there's really nothing really about the prequels that's really as good or better than the original trilogy, and I saw the Nostalgia Critics video of the 11 good things about the Star Wars prequels. Yeah. And yeah, in this video, I'm just going to talk about 10 things that I think the Star Wars prequels actually did better than the original trilogy, because yeah, there were actually some things that the Star Wars prequels actually did do better than the original trilogy. They weren't just good things, but better things than the original. Alright. But before I get started with this, I just want to give you guys like a little bit of heads up. Yeah, you probably have noticed with me, since I finished my Royal Rumble reviews back in January, I really haven't made very many videos since then. Yeah, for the last few months I've been kind of like losing some desire of making YouTube videos. I mean, it's not completely, I haven't lost it completely. I still want to make videos here on YouTube, but yeah, I've just been kind of losing desire to make them as much. So probably from now on, I'm probably not going to be doing like videos as often as I used to. I mean, I'll still make videos, of course I will, but it's probably not going to be like how it was when I was making like my Royal Rumble reviews and my SummerSlam reviews or WrestleMania reviews. Yeah, it's probably not going to be just like that. Probably going to be like maybe like a few videos like every couple of weeks, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, there's probably going to be like a significant decrease in how many videos I make. Like, but yeah, I'll still be making some videos. It's just not going to be as often as it was before. Alright, so yeah, okay, anyway. Alright, the so 10 things that the Star Wars prequels did better than the original trilogy. Yeah, I do have numbers for these, but I'm not ranking these like it's like from the worst thing they did to the best thing. No, no, no. It's not that at all. I just have them numbered so I could make sure they were 10. Alright. So yeah, let me get started. Okay. Guess I'll start with the most obvious thing first, the lightsaber fights. Now, yeah, everyone would pretty much unanimously agree that the lightsaber fights in the prequel trilogy were better than the ones in the original. Yeah, I mean, they were much more intense and ferocious than the ones in the originals. Yeah, especially in Episode 4 with Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. It was just seemed like two old guys that were barely able to move just fighting each other. While in the prequels, they were just really intense and ferocious lightsaber fights, like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan and Anakin versus Count Dooku, and even Obi-Wan versus Anakin. And yeah, I mean, yeah, so yeah, pretty much every single lightsaber fight in the prequel trilogy was better than the original. Alright, so yeah, that's one thing. Number two was the fact that there were much more female characters in the Star Wars prequels than there were the original. Okay, how many female characters were there in the original trilogy? 3. There was Leia, there was Aunt Beru, and then there was the lady that was in Return of the Jedi that was explaining the plans on how to destroy the Death Star. Now, counting how many females were in the prequel trilogy, let's see. There was Padme, she had a couple of decoys. There was Anakin's mother, Shmi Skywalker. There was a couple of girls that were Anakin in that group of kids that were like Anakin's friends that he was showing his pod racer to. Yeah, there was that one old lady that knew Anakin on Tatooine. Hmm. There was that like there was Zam Wesell from Episode 2. There was that like creature on what was in Episode 2 that introduced Obi-Wan to Jango Fett and showed him the clone trooper army. Yeah. Yeah, and there was Amperu. Ooh, so that was 10 right there, and then let's see who else. Yeah, there was Padme's successor to the throne in episode 2. 2, and let's see. And yeah, there were like some other female characters in episode and the prequel trilogy. So yeah, I mean, I think it did please the female fans of Star Wars that there were much more females in the prequel trilogy than there were in the original, where there were 3 female characters and only one of them was actually a main character. So yeah, I think this actually pleases the female fans that they actually had some more female characters in the prequel trilogy. Alright, so that was one thing. Number 3 is that there were the better Imperial forces. Yeah, there were all the army of droids, the droids that were like the Imperial forces that like were always like trying to capture Jedi and stuff. Yeah, they they were way better developed than the stormtroopers in the original trilogy. The stormtroopers did not do any, could barely do anything at all in the original, while the droids in the prequels actually like they were able to corner the Jedi and like they captured the Gungan army and they almost captured like Padme and Captain Antilles and then everyone else in episode 1. And so yeah, it was just a better development with the droid forces than with the stormtroopers in the original trilogy. And don't worry, I'll get to like the stormtroopers and the or slash clone troopers later on. But yeah, the prequels did a better job at actually making the Imperial forces actually getting the jobs done, unlike the stormtroopers who couldn't do anything in the original trilogy. Alright, so that's one thing, alright. Number 4 was that there were more systems or worlds in the prequels. Yeah, we got to see more worlds than we did in the original trilogy. Yeah, the original trilogy we had Tatooine, Yavin, we had Hoth, Dagobah, Cloud City, and the Moon of Endor. So that's 6. And then in the prequel trilogy we have Naboo, Tatooine, Coruscant, and uh, we had Kashyyyk, Kamino, Mustafar, Megiddo, oh, Salukami. I mean, yeah, and yeah, it goes on and on. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we just had more. We got to see more systems and worlds in the prequel trilogy than we did in the original. Yeah, and we were introduced to more worlds than were in the original trilogy. So yeah, more worlds and systems or whatever. If there was something else that the prequels are better than the originals, alright. Number 5 is now the better Stormtrooper slash Clone Trooper development. And yeah, I mean, yeah, in the prequels, the Clone Troopers, we'll just call them Clone Troopers, they were actually able to shoot things and actually get jobs done and actually do their jobs in the prequels. While in the original trilogy, they didn't do anything. They couldn't shoot anything, and they were always like just falling and doing a bunch of stupid stuff. So yeah, the stormtroopers or clone troopers were definitely developed better in the prequel trilogy than they were the original. Alright. Number 6 was that there were more English was spoken rather than some foreign languages. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about all of you, but personally, I don't like just reading through subtitles, titles, all that much in movies. Yeah, especially if it's like a foreign film, like some of Jet Li's martial arts films, where pretty much the entire movie is just spoken in a foreign language, and you got to read through there are just subtitles, and you got to read them through the entire movie. Yeah, I really don't like that. I really do prefer English to be spoken more. And yeah, we did get more English spoken from like creatures and stuff like the Viceroy spoke English, Watto spoke English. There was Obi-Wan's friend Dexter in episode 2 in that diner. He spoke English. And yeah, and the Gungans spoke and yeah, the droids did speak English, yeah. And yeah, there was just more English spoken from like creatures and stuff in the original, I mean the prequel trilogy than the original, where you got like Jabba the Hutt always speaking in a foreign language, Greedo, oh, and some other creatures were just like roaring and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Now, of course, you do have like some hmm, creatures and stuff speaking foreign languages, like Sebulba, like Jabba the Hutt. I remember during episode 1 in the pod race with like the commentators or anything, one was speaking a foreign language and one was speaking English. So yeah, yeah. So the prequels did do a better job at making the other creature characters speak English than like a foreign language. So yeah, it's just something that I prefer. I don't know about all of you, but personally I do prefer that. All right. All right. Number 7. This is pretty much just continuing what I just said. That there were some new creatures introduced in the original trilogy, like the Gungans and the Viceroy or Trade Federation, and there were like all the different creatures in the pod race, and yeah, there were just some other creatures that were new creatures that were introduced in the prequel trilogy that weren't in the original trilogy. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are gonna like bash the Gungans and Jar Jar, but yeah, they aren't Ewoks, okay? I mean, I personally do prefer the Gungans over the Ewoks, alright? I mean, I don't know what all of you think, but I personally do prefer the Gungans over the Ewoks. Alright, so, yeah. And, yeah, so new creatures were another thing the prequels did better than the original trilogy. Right? Number 8, the animated Yoda. Yeah, now, I do know that when The Phantom Menace was first released, Yoda was still a puppet like he was in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. But yeah, when it was released on Blu-ray, they did animate Yoda, and yeah, he was always animated in Episode 2 and Episode 3, and I just do prefer him animated more than a puppet. I mean, he actually has facial expressions, and he just moves better. Yeah, yeah, and, yeah. Personally, I really, he does look a lot more realistic when he's animated than he is a puppet. Yeah, I mean, when I was always watching Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and The Phantom Menace, I always knew, like, he never really looked that realistic to me. I mean, it was just always like his mouth was moving up and down, not like he was a puppet. While in episode 2 and episode 3, they actually gave him some facial expressions and stuff. So yeah, I actually do prefer Yoda animated over being a puppet. So yeah, that's another thing. Number 9, the Sith Lords like Darth Maul and Count Dooku. Oh yeah, I mean, now personally, Darth Vader, right? It's not really that I didn't like him in the original trilogy. I mean, I did like Darth Vader, but just yeah, and he really did seem like evil in A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. But then when it came to Return of the Jedi, after he never killed Luke in the Empire Strikes Back, and he said he was his father, after that, I kind of it just felt to me like Darth Vader lost his touch, and he just became the good guy. Yeah, it always seemed to me like after in Return of the Jedi, he just always seemed more like a good guy than he did a bad guy. Cause yeah, I just knew that he wasn't gonna kill Luke, cause yeah, he was his father. Yeah, well with Darth Maul and Count Dooku, they actually were really intimidating, and yeah, I just did believe that they were always evil throughout the beginning of episode 1 and 2 to pretty much the end of when they got killed. Yeah, I mean, they just always seem like absolutely evil, especially Count Dooku with like the lightning from his hand, like the Emperor did. Yeah, and even though Darth Maul, he never did that. I did really believe that he was evil, like with his yellow eyes and stuff, and his just his face paint and all that. Yeah, I mean, he just really was really intimidating, and he actually did seem absolutely evil. So, yeah, that's another thing that I liked that the prequels did better than the original. And number 10, the final thing I want to talk about is that, like there were more like spacecrafts and ships and stuff. Yeah, I just really liked all the spacecrafts and stuff in the prequels. Yeah, I mean, I like the Naboo starfighters. I personally, you could argue that they're better than the X-wings. I've heard some people say they actually like the Naboo starfighters better than the X-wings and the Y-wings and stuff. Yeah, and I did like the starship transports that they had in episodes 1 and 2 and even 3. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I did like the stuff in the original trilogy, but I just thought that the stuff in the the ships in the prequel trilogy were better than the original trilogy. And yeah, that's just what I think. And I know probably some of you will like the original ships better, but I personally do like the prequel ships and stuff better. Alright, so yeah, those are the 10 things that I think that the Star Wars prequels definitely did better than the original trilogy. If there's something that you guys think that the prequels also did better than the original trilogy that wasn't in this list, you can leave them in the comments. And if there's anything you disagree with and you think the original did better, you can also tell me that in the comments also. But alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this list. This, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.